Hey, what's up? This is Ben. We're going to check out a Counterflix POV demo of Coldzera on Overpass versus FaZe. This was during the final of IEM Sydney, one of the most recent top tier events, where SK beat FaZe 3 to 1 in a best of 5, and they won Overpass. Um, FaZe only took one map, and I think in the upcoming tournaments that will incorporate all of this year's best teams, SK, FaZe, Astralis, G2, and possibly Navi. I think it's really important to be able to fight over maps like Overpass. Um, Although Overpass is not SK's strongest map, it is in their top three, I believe. And it is the place that I also think specialists can glean glean at least a chance in a best of 3 scenario or even a best of 1 scenario. So I think preparing for SK on Overpass is extremely important. So let's check out how Coldzera works this map. Alright, we see SK in the pistol. They are getting control of outside monster. They are not going for the fast water push, which I think is interesting since they have Glocks. Fighting in this range is sometimes useful. They do have one person, looks like Taco, lurking outside in playground, probably just trying to hold this fast flank. Let's see how this round progresses. Alright, so no info being given to FaZe. I like this positioning for whoever this is. Is that that's Taco, so it must be somebody else. Maybe Fur over on the lurk. Getting a lot of control in long. So Fur's lurk gets countered out. I don't like that from Fur. I think that he could have easily pushed this faster, or at least chilled in bathrooms for a bit. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish by going up through long alone. Seems like sort of a waste of Fur since he's so consistent and really deadly on pistols. I would have rather seen him in this playground area or taking a fight at door so that he can be closer to the team in case the bomb goes down. This just seems like sort of a loose lurk on Fur's part. Anyway, out of the pistol. They get blinded up. Out of the pit, molly off in barrels. Alright, so pretty standard Taco entering into the site with Phelps as the second man and Coldzera as the third. Coldzera in clutch situations is always really, really good. So I like this, that the two entries are taking the aim duels, and then Cold and Fallen are picking up the scraps. Looks like FaZe wants to play retake here. Where did they get that first pick? So Phelps kills somebody on short B. Or planks, whatever it's called. This is exactly what I'm talking about from Fur, though, is that if he was in this connector, it would have been easier to retake water, and since it's planted open, that would have been really crucial for the tease. Let's see if Taco gets this kill here on whoever is going to be coming out of door. So Rain kills Taco, so there you go. Fallen going ham. Coldzera. Excellent pistol round. So even though they were outpositioned, they end up getting all the frags, and that's just the way those pistol rounds work. I'm surprised to see FaZe give up B that easily and play for a retake. I guess once they double push mid, they would know it's going B, so they could get into more advantageous positions. Seems kind of weak on FaZe's part. Pretty standard nade there. Spreading out into a default. Looks like Fur's alone in water. Just waiting for some pushes. Pretty good mid flash. Fur gets one on the lurk on that little cubby inside water. With that pick, they might want to split B, but it's really hard to tell without any type of mid control. So important to note, if you're playing SK on an eco on overpass and they're T side, you don't want to be holding these tight angles with no info unless you have somebody to back you up. They took water fast though, so they knew they wouldn't be getting cheese pushed through door, and they had held playground until the 1 minute mark, so really safe play coming out. Trying to boost. Might have heard that movement. Yeah, they're really... They called out the triple boost. Green gets a wand. Alright, really important. So, Fallen got killed by Rain, and presumably, who's with... So Phelps and Coldzera are the ones who went party, then mid connector, cleared out mid, and are now going to wrap back onto B. Taco was the one who late lurked onto B to get control. Taco gets the kill. Smoke heaven. Waits out the smoke to make sure no one's hiding. Phelps kills the lurk. Gets a dig. Ooh. Nico, 2-1 weeks. I remember a lot about this. They end up trading a lot of rounds, so it'll be interesting to see how, when their economy is pressured, what they choose to do. Right now, it looks like they're forcing techs. They know their econ is low. They want to force, so they want to try to gain control back. So not backing down here, which is important. Now, this is kind of an example of why I think the Tech 9 needs a little bit more of a rebalance. Even though the ump is meta and it could be represented or overly represented in the meta, the Tech 9 is still really, really powerful and is honestly one of the craziest guns to have at one of these ranges, because you can jiggle and counter strafe people on this corner and clear out water so effectively. Even people jump spotting here. I don't know if from here to here is that jump spot is a one-shot headshot with the Tech 9, but you're gonna be doing like 90 probably, and that's a lot of damage, especially when you can spam through that wall with the extra 20 bullets you have left. Ends up getting 2 kills. Gets spammed with the smoke. And Coldzera. Now the fun begins. Coldzera immediately decides to rotate out. I'd be interested to know if Fallen is directing a lot of Coldzera's play here, or if he's doing this all in his own game sense. I'm sure Fallen has studied enough tape, and probably Cold has as well, but to know how FaZe usually plays these situations, or how Kerrigan usually plays these situations. Interesting to see if he'll jump spot. Oof. Had an intuition he was bank, ends up losing. And they're down to pistols. weird to see that even though they're on pistols, they're still splitting up for control. So even if you're, let me see the double push here from FaZe. Even if you know they're on low econ, they're still getting a lot of map control. I like that. Give that up. Kiyoshima being cheesy at the door. Next round. Throws that the same way you would the nade. Pretty standard. This is for the playground push. So he stands behind this wooden logs, throws it into the corner here. Pretty good nade, hopefully. Doesn't look like it did any damage. He's playing back to bathrooms, so no push. Probably like covering connectors since they don't have any info. Oh, Kyo gets a cheeky frag. Flash over into mid, try to blind an opera. So 4v5 with water control and a lot of long B control. They're not really walking into any stacks, even though they know. I guess no utility was really deployed in mid by FaZe, so they're opting not to go there. I don't know. Fallen's just clearing a lot of angles right now. Really sloppy on Alu's part. He's just standing out in the open. Cold hits him with a really easy jiggle peek. As soon as he hears the shots, he just strafes back into it. No flashbang here either, because they're probably on a low econ buy with the AKs. Probably couldn't afford all the utility. This kill is kind of a red herring though, because we see that Rain is chilling back here at the rock. There is still somebody on A site, so we're gonna have to see how SK piece this together, whether they want to split back out through long. Nico goes to long because he knows that Rain can't win both sides. They walk in almost dry. It's kind of weird that, well, they don't have any utility. They're just trying to take the aim duels. Smoke off long, very important. They're getting flashed out.
Bomb has been planted.
Pretty bad molly. Forgets a rotator. They're trying to retake through long. Fallen gets a pick, falls back. Here's one on the site, forgets another, going through long. Easy pickup from Cold. So they win back. They won back on a buy, and they bought into that round. Looks like somebody's back of party. I don't think he was supposed to bounce this flash out like that, but who knows. Ooh. Secret tech. That is really cool. Okay, so a safe peek into party. A little mini run boost here from the boys in BR. Let's watch it again. At 0.25. So right now you can barely see anything. Haven't really been pushing long. That jump there is a little sketchy, but he's just trying to see if that opera is going to peek him there. really like that boost. Definitely an opera has to be aware of that, especially if mid is. I don't know if they'll do it if mid is smoked, but that can easily yield you a frag on land. I wonder what that'll smoke off. Probably bathrooms, I'm assuming. Yep, not bathrooms. Good to note that Rain's position before wasn't checked, at least not by Cold. Like, Fur might have looked at it, but there could be some play there if they hear, if you hear somebody long, for instance, you have somebody pushed up like that, and you hear footsteps at long, you could have your opper scoped in, but not peeking, so he doesn't get flashbanged. Quick turnaround, and then I don't know. That'd be interesting to see. So jiggle. Cold, the chronic jiggle peeker does the same thing here. Hits both angles of the jiggle peek. See that? Jiggle, 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 just in case. Nets him a kill. Rain strafing out, seeing somebody's shoulder, eager for the kill. Really amazing control there. Gets picked. Knows somebody's close. Trying to get Alu to shoot. Drag on Alu. And they end up losing the round. Unfortunate. They're playing that pretty well. Just didn't go their way. They are boosting the right side of the smoke. Kerrigan. Team play from these guys is immaculate. You have to be able to expect that kind of stuff. So, a lot of people follow up this kind of utility usage with like mollies behind it as well as nades into it, because a lot of people like to play close to the smoke or try to abuse it in some way, like for holding pushes, because you assume that like, I think the best example of something like this is the top mid smoke in Mirage. Is if you use a top mid smoke, it is, I don't think it's ever a waste of utility to either molly behind boxes or try to nade up into top mid from connector, just because you know, or spam that smoke, because you know that somebody might be crossing, and getting free damage through a smoke is like one of the best things you can do. And a lot of people like to boost on the very edge of the corner in Mirage over the top mid smoke to try to peek into connector or mid or whatever. It's not super common anymore, or in professional matches for that matter. But they throw a push smoke, and then they're not ready for somebody to boost over it or for somebody to try to exploit it. I think that betrays a little bit of the planning there, to give away that frag. Like, look at this. Also, I like whoever threw that smoke into long, so that they couldn't pinch as effectively, because this is extra bad for the CTs peeking this stuff. I don't know. Seems kind of weird. Yeah, whoever threw that smoke is pretty important. Still at 110, they haven't given up a man, but like they have slowed way down. So trying to work out whether or not anyone's playing close. Now they're hitting the 1 minute mark. Cold is gonna smoke bathrooms. constantly aware of this long flank. Trying to clear as much as possible. Is he going to flash for Fallen on the way in? Yep, looks like it. And then goes 3. Look at that. Fur, Cold, and Fallen. All working up long in the mid round. This is the exact same strat they did just this last time. They're running it again. They got the frags. They just couldn't hold the post plant apparently, or they just had some unlucky timings on smokes and stuff. Now win was I believe it was Taco coming out of water. Oh, Fur came all the way through back this way, and Taco solo cleared through mid. So I'm assuming Fur, or they peek water together somehow through the doors and stuff, because there are a couple of different angles, and peeking out of door is not very strong in water because there are like some spots you just can't see until you're overexposed. So I like this. Let's see if they end up getting lucky here, or not lucky, but just executing this time. Chronically jiggling everything. Auto gets a frag on the site. Goes a refresh. Playing in the smoke for long. Bomb has been planted. Cold's watching the flank. 3v4 retake from FaZe. Just jiggling stuff. Ooh, is this the ninja by Kerrigan? No, he's already dead. Never mind. Yeah, he died at the beginning of the round. What am I saying? FaZe ended up saving 2 rifles to try to force another round. Pretty good. Pardon me. Going through a pretty standard default. They know 2 people saved, so they're still afraid of rifles. Looks like Taco holding. Oh, no. Oh, boost in mid. A little cheeky run boost to clear out mid. Rain gets 2 with the really unfortunate because they're now a reset. Flash. Phelps pushes straight through the molly. Looking to shark somebody here. Oh, they forced in. Cold just holding the flank. It's pretty standard since they've exploited mid connector for the retake a couple of times now. I think if FaZe doesn't get a kill here in the next, spams a clip in. Nika going ham. That is why you never give up a round until Coldzera is dead. My man with the spray control going ham. Let's watch it one more time. Immediately rain. No ready. This is very smart play from Cold. He knows he's smoked out, and he did spam a clip through. So when they kill two people, one is on the bomb, and they're both looking towards short. Just the game sense comes into play. I guess Nico was looking towards Monster, he just didn't get the headshot. Cold was at full HP. Alright, smoke in mid. How are they playing this? Excellent. So that is a flashbang for a push in party. Perfectly blinds up Alu. Alu had a pretty bad series overall, and seeing him getting flashed out and stuff like that is rough. Let's see if Rain gets the pickup here though. Yeah, he gets the second pickup. There's a flash. Rain with the triple kill. Nasty. And FaZe end up picking up the round. Maybe a double molly across the sky. I don't really understand what Kyo's doing there. They might think they're reset, but wow, pretty aggressive here. There's M4. Probably gonna call that out for his team. Fur ever ready for the push. He's the last person alive in CT. Triple peeking there, not letting anything go. Raid is long gone. That's a little deep, don't you think? Cheeky smoke. Alright, back to what seems to be the defaults. Fur, Fallen, Cold, Taco, and Phelps. So I got these two reversed. Phelps is taking mid, and Taco is handling monsters. Spam in. Fallen is already up long, so he says save your utility. Come up long with me. Legs Rain on the site, I think. He's down to red HP. Flashing bathrooms, here's nothing. Flashing short, here's nothing. Gonna molly out connector. So he is mauling out connector at the same time that Phelps is wrapping up. So if you are this connector guy and you have no mid control on A, then if you're seeing a molly into mid connector, you should be expecting Phelps to swing on you. Pretty standard molly, so it could be a little innocuous, but the timing feels calculated. Feels like team play. Cold, the bomb, clearing a few angles. Here's a couple on site. Nico. Alright, 3v4. With no long control and a pick on B, they decide to immediately rotate back down to B into connector. They don't have connector control and short control or water here. And they saw one person pushing up. It's not very likely that two would push up, especially in different locations that they can refrag for each other. So taking water fast is usually going to be pretty good. Plus, they only have 22 seconds. Yeah, they just need to clear a bunch of stuff. Cold's going to entry in here. And they didn't close the door behind them. Pardon me. Rain, you need to clutch out here. And Nico denies some money. Sucks. So that was that's what happens when you take a long time to get all of this A control and then decide to double back to B after a pick. Even though they were 3v4, they didn't have a lot of time to do what they normally do, which is usually just kind of take these monster duels and have good utility on the back end. And Cold is watching this door flank most of the time from like a crouch peek in water, like right around here by where the spam box is. Interesting to see if that position is like more spammable, or if they're Xing onto the site, you might be able, if you have a mid connector flank, to somehow, if you have like maybe a CT guy that can flash this for the connector guy, to be able to get Cold. But this is pretty safe for the most part, I would have to say. Going all the way around takes a lot of time, especially if you're trying to get to the bomb. What is this smoke? What is that smoke? Where does that go? Grenade trajectory, please. It popped like somewhere up here. I'm assuming bathrooms. Smoking for bathrooms. Just try to watch it again, see if we can find out where this goes. So it looks like AK and Globe Eyes. Cool, yeah. They're sticking together as a unit, which is very, very good, especially when you have this Tech 9 to try to bait for people. Wait, can we tell where the smoke landed, please? I have no idea now. I think it might have faded. Yeah. So weird that FaZe gave up the site this easily. Yeah, first already in CT getting a kill. Seems like a weird overextension at B. Buy or not. Doesn't get the second. Fallen trades him out. 7-6. All these rounds are super close. So when they didn't do that connector split, they're throwing this mid flash a lot, and there was no smoke like coming over like this from Cold. And after walking all the way through connector, making sure not to give anything away, they bust A fast. Phelps gets a frag on Kerrigan, pushing again, or just trying to take control. I think this is Alu pushed up into bathrooms. They usually have Cold Flash for Fur or Fallen to try to fight this or duel this guy. I don't know why they're not doing that, but okay. I think that's actually a tell. If they are throwing utility from playground and like the bottom slope here in mid, but they aren't flashing to clear out party, or they aren't trying to boost to clear out party. Like basically if you're seeing nothing after this utility usage, and they're not trying to get control of A. They're not doing anything in these 2 lanes, so they have to be somewhere else. Because they take so much time to clear out all the bathrooms to get into A. They only leave themselves like 30 seconds. So I think FaZe should figure that out pretty quick here. Try to go back. Yeah, they see nothing playground. Cold walks into water for free. Pretty risky. Ready to battle this guy. Oh, gets huge wide swung by Alu. Unlucky. That was well played by FaZe. Alright, well now we know. If Phelps wants to get into water, the molly ain't gonna stop him. He's gonna keep pushing up with that Tech 9. Keep getting them frags. Oh. The ump is so good, dude. Immediately senses somebody's CT, man. Look offshore. Doesn't get the frag on rain. Unfortunate. Alright. Let's look at the scoreboard. Ugh. Land CS in its purest form. Coldzera, 17 and 10. Except for his 3-man spray down multi-kill, which was maybe one of the like the hero like sequences of the match. One of their 6 rounds, and it could have easily swung the economy back into like FaZe's favor. I think that was one of the big things, is that they never really got abused by utility. They were always able to use the requisite amount to counter out however much was being used towards them, and that is just because, you know, these guys have to buy kits, their mollies cost more, yada yada yada, economy stuff. Who's doing bad right now? Taco. Taco is not finding a lot of kills. Taco is having to hold passive outside monster and then entry into monster if they have to split back into B or watch for these lurks. Those 3 responsibilities are so sucky. I cannot imagine having to do that every single freaking round for an entire map, unless we're busting out A, or like, I don't know. That is just, I mean, basically his scoreline doesn't really reflect his like worth in terms of like map control and all that other jazz. He didn't really lose that many duels to Kiyoshima on A of them, like one or the other pushing. It's just he's entry fragging for the rest of SK. Excuse me. Alright, let's get it popping. Hip kit needs unfallen. Let's see if they throw the pre-flash here. Cold's gonna be jump spotting. Yeah, Cold threw it. Yep. Sees multiple. You can probably hear multiple, to be honest. Taco immediately gets off the site. One smoke into heaven. I have no idea what Nico's doing there. It's just kind of about-faced. About to play the retake. Notice somebody's close. There's a smoke down. He's gonna go for the frag. Yeah, they end up getting it. Cole didn't have to do a lot there. He got his 1 kill and was a body. So, jump spotting. If if you're planning on going silent into monster, um, you might want to do what SK did, honestly, is having somebody lurk near party to try to hold this fast flank into sewers, and then have people outside of monster so that once the flash comes in, um, I mean, if there is a flash, I don't know. Cold is jump spotting though, which is definitely susceptible to a really good pistol player or somebody with a Tech 9, for instance, getting a headshot on an unarmored opponent. Um, so if you have somebody who can usually make that shot, which, I mean, I've seen Device do it, I've seen Zipnix do it, I'm sure Dupree can do it. Carrie B has some of the flickiest, most consistent aim ever, and Glaive is not half bad either. So I don't know, man. That doesn't seem safe from Cold. I don't know. Oh, pure time made there. He's jumping here for the first 30 seconds. I don't have mid control. That isn't safe, dude. Are there any other positions where, like, can you see, like, this jump spot from this window if you get boosted up? I don't know. One minute he smokes out. Someone near the site, flashing out. Ooh, gets tanked up. Waiting for the T's to push. Phelps traded one back out. Ooh, he eats a meaty nade. Down to something. Red HP, 20. Oh my god, the instant headshot from Keo. Gets dumpstered. Okay, you missed your nade. What are you gonna do now? And is there a tell that they're stacking for in mid? Rough. And they even it up, 99. That was pretty good from Cold. Pretty sick awareness. He was probably getting a call from his teammate. Timing nade. I don't know if that timing nade is a little early from him. I feel like it might be. Again, jump spotting. We'll see if he puts down the smoke at 1 minute again. Taco playing ramp with him. Forgets a pick in bathrooms. Phelps on the site. Throws a smoke and leaves. For getting more frags, and more frags, and more frags. And they're up. SK is taking the lead. Mollies instead of a timing nade. They smoke this this molly and push. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if they get pushed through monster fast, then they are at least like smoked out, might slow the hit for the rotators. They don't take damage on this push, and I don't know, but it's like pretty obvious that they could be there now, at least with the smoke down. FaZe is nowhere near this though, so pardon me, it's not really any of their concern. So Taco playing under. This is pretty much invisible to a door open, and Cold's playing safe to a door swing. Just waiting for any kind of aggression here. We're gonna hold out to a Q, or until like 1 minute, and then fall. I wonder if that actually flashes mid for like somebody like Fallen to peek off of. That's a pretty nifty flash to flash mid in that kind of scenario where you're kind of like stuck at boost, helping out your teammate, watching his connector. Pardon me. Phelps is about to take this duel with 2 people. I think there's like a smoke that ends up being here, and they get like a 2K through the smoke. Phelps just kind of lines this up. Pretty sloppy from FaZe overall. There goes. Olu and Rain dead. Fallen trades out 1. Oof, dumpstered. Keo, last man alive, gets a frag on B. Nothing Cold really could have known about that. Their extra rotator that they were playing for connector control. Let's see if they do it again. Not a lot of utility. Forgets frag in mid. Straight out by Olu. Smokes this and rotates back up. Taco alone on the sites. Cold picks up long. Pretty standard. Jiggling from dumpster. From green. CT dub. Excuse me. He had already mollied out a push, as well as smoked for Taco. I feel like these are not as safe on LAN. Online, the interp might get you every once in a while, but it just seems so risky to be jump spawning this. Gonna spam the smoke for sure. Oh, doesn't end up spamming the smoke. Nobody through. Ooh, gets wrecked by the running Tech 9, and they pull out the round. Right? Hopefully. Oh! Nope, they end up losing that round. That is actually quite surprising. This is a 4v2, and they end up losing to Rain. Oh, this is Rain's massive round where he got a 3K. One, like, pistol kill, then an M4 in the smoke, and then Fallen gets wrecked on that one. Pretty unlucky there on SK's part, but they did get a massive round like that first. Cold taking the time to Phelps gets an easy frag through the window. Nothing to really know about that because there's nobody connector. 3v3 without a lot of positioning. SK probably is gonna go for this. Cold not going with his teammates. deciding instead to try to go through upper and coordinate. Sort of weird flashes from the T's, in my opinion. Pretty good retake. Whoever was that first kill, I don't know. I can't blame them, to be honest. He has that flash pulled for timing's pretty sick actually. So the molly comes out to hold the early push, and then they're like, well, if we're scrimming through anyways, we're just gonna push here, and he already has the flash pulled. Even if nobody comes through, you don't have to throw the flash. But if it's in your routine of molly, jump spot, pull the flash, throw it if somebody is there and Taco needs to re-peek on somebody. Taco wanders around a lot, water, but one thing he almost never does is play the right side. He always plays towards site, which I think is safe and good, but it's just, oh, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is he gets spotted jump peeking. They don't have any connector control, but they could have pretty easily just died from that. So now with them having water control, I don't like Taco being at barrels, because if FaZe has an op, there's a really easy boost that you can do just over this to pick Taco at barrels, and he has to be watching Monster. So I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if there is a better way to play the site. It's a tough question. Because for an initial push, it's good, but they're coming through Monster, and they don't know how many are in water right now. They only saw one, and more could have been holding in the tunnel to see once the door opened. Yep. So they got swung on. Rain kills cold. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of disappointed in this setup. It's like I don't know. It's ultra standard. There's not a ton of thought that is going into it. It just relies really heavily on how intuitive Taco and Cold play together. They play really well together. I think they've bonded pretty well in the team, and they play off each other really well. I've seen, at least when I was looking at cobblestone demos of this team, when they had FNX and they won the E-League, not the E-League, the MLG major, the Columbus one. They played cobblestone like 6, maybe 7 times in that major, and they won, I think, all of them. They were undefeated, and I was like, okay, how on earth do you get to be the best at cobblestone? How do you get to be undefeated? Because a T-sided map, back then, at least it was declared to be sort of T-sided back when it was getting like small changes and reworks. How do you get that map to be ultra consistent? And on the T side, Taco and Cold lurking together out B plat every single round, getting control, meticulously clearing out every angle. Cold on the op, holding an angle like almost a double op setup on the T side of cobblestone is like, I mean, who does that? SK. These guys can pull it off. 12-11, yep. Forcing into this. Low econ buy on the CT side. Doesn't look to be anything funky. Bad molly from FaZe to overthrew that. Spam through. Pretty standard. Somebody else mollied for Cold. I like this spot a lot because, like, well, I would like it better if Taco was playing in this connector. Um, but oh well. FaZe is set up for a B-split. They have mid-connect control. Yeah, there we go, Taco. So it looks like they can play it pretty interchangeably. Cold holding this corner right here with somebody right near bricks, or like this poster, whatever this is. How do you know if they are here? How can you tell? Well, I don't think Fallen has ever gone into this mid connector with the op, so sending a rifler here is probably pretty safe. If you send a rifler here, you can at least gain info. If they smoke this off, your guys pushing water are not safe because they will most likely boost and kill somebody. If you have this connector control, then it's almost like a 50-50 shot whether or not they're either jump. I mean, I think you open the door to see if somebody's jump spotting before 1 minute. After 1 minute, I'm not sure. But this is a super strong setup. I don't know. I want to see more teams use this. This is land right here. This is playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars of prize money kind of play right here. Ultra disciplined, really thought out, strategic. These guys are just walking a monster. The guy connector is making a ton of noise, probably jump spotting, trying to. Look at that, man. Look at that. Rain has no idea what's going on. Kerrigan didn't flash through the tunnel. He didn't. I mean, he's probably gonna drops the bomb. Nico has no idea where Cold is. It's like he was just playing in water. I have no idea. Oh, Fallen dumpsters him. So he gets 1 kill in a 1x1, another kill in a 1x1, and then he just transfers over to the other side so that this guy can't peek him. I mean, that essentially won them the game because they'd been trading rounds. They probably force an eco here. Or some kind of force buy, low econ buy. I think FaZe is much better on the CT side with low econ buys. I don't know. Oh, Kerrigan has an AK, never mind. They had enough money to buy. Cold rotates pretty fast here. Phelps playing in front of that smoke again. I saw this live. Pretty smart play by Cold. I want to see what kind of timing he gets here. Ooh. Didn't check all the way for Kiyoshima, but gets a frag anyways. That is something that you should definitely know, is that if you're trying to walk up mid connector, mid of A, your shadows are, the sun is behind you, essentially. It's like they're going to know first. They're going to have an advantage here if they're playing outside. Inside, less of an advantage. So people like Alu, who play mid for FaZe, could have, on rifles or pistol buys or in their defaults, they could have been playing positions like these to gain this advantage of the sun perspective. Nico here's one rotating down. Kerrigan instant frag onto Taco. Pretty rough retake, but you know. Cold and Fallen, two of the best players in the world. Weird spam. He might just be trying to make room for... Ooh. He's like, nope, that one didn't work. Oh, fallen frags. Cold in the 1v1. Picks up. Like, what is this? How do you account for people like this, man? He's got 28 frags. He's had multiple multi-kill rounds. He's everywhere you want to be. Very, very interesting stuff. Anyways, I don't know. This is just ultra impressive by him. So how did he make that assumption? The other guy, what did he? Fallen was killed by Alu, who was in pit. So there's no way he knows where this guy is. Wow. There's no way he knows where that guy is, though. He just had to take a 50-50. Also, no way to know if you're defusing. I don't think Nico lost them the game, per se, but it definitely did not help that Cold got a, a .02 second defuse. Notice they never really boost here to try to get the frags, only if they are taking connector control. Were they boosting on the, or from what I can see on the CT side, not even that CT boost, they just want a jump spot for information. He's waiting until around 1 minute so that he can get his smoke down. Right? I'm assuming that's what's gonna happen here. Yep. Man, that is such a disciplined play. They have to wait for the utility. So this gives them an opportunity to strengthen A. Look at that, they actually did the boost. Oh, yeah. They're doing a boost at map on A site. Gets the long guy. .30 seconds left. They hear a bunch of noise. They're ready to fight these guys. Counter-terrorists win. Phelps going ham. And 15 rounds. Considering SK had to come back, I think 9-6 half. Not really come back because their sheets assigned is really strong. Fast. Taco up on the boost. It's a pretty free frag. Phelps in heaven. Fallen from heaven. Just pre-firing a lot of angles. Oh, fur through the wall. And that's a good game. GG, well played. Coldzera ending the game 29-15. Phelps also ending the game with 29 frags. Also doing a ton of heavy lifting on the CT side. Taco was 5-11 at the start of the second half, and he is 6-17 now with 10 assists. So even though Coldzera is arguably the MVP of this game, Taco was pretty much enabling him to be in the highest frag positions. He was anchoring B site. He was letting Cold rotate up to A. Just pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, I really loved this game from both of these guys. like Rain and Nico were also carrying really hard, and I mean, look look at the performances on these guys. Like, even though arguably this is a similar number of frags, like 35, 8. I don't know. They actually had way more. Yeah, they're second and I mean they're third and fourth on the leaderboard were already combined almost as effective or more effective than the rest of the team. But yeah, pretty tough. Kerrigan dying almost every round. Same with Keo. Yeah, really tough game for FaZe, but I mean, Cold and Phelps were just like forces of nature on this map, man. I don't know. They just got put into the spots every single time and enabled every single time. So really glad to see that they have a really firm grasp over overpass. And what did we glean? So T side, Cold is sticking to mid control. He is actually playing a more supportive role for Fur and Fallen. Taco is anchoring outside of Monster, and Phelps is either going into water or mid connector, depending on the game plan. But I think their default on gun rounds has to do with taking mid control. Um, and then on the CT side, it is much more. I mean, it's not even really oriented around Cold getting frags. It's just that he has immense. Like, look at this. They go from like sporadic trading rounds to pretty much a brick wall. They got bricked out. So, I don't know. I think Kerrigan pretty much failed on cracking this defense. Obviously, they didn't have a lot of success in mid. I think they did win one B round, and that was, I think, one of these was Rain's clutch. So like even like a round they weren't really supposed to win in the first place. Um, I think that's this one actually because he did kill everyone. So yeah, their first round was like a immensely crazy clutch by Rain. Um, Obviously, in order to win games against SK, you're gonna need somebody activated. Um, but that is one hell of a CT side to be able to crack. And the thing is, to me, like what I was saying earlier, their setup isn't really that special. They're executing really well, not giving up a ton of like free anything while they're Xing on the site. I still think that this B bomb site is very susceptible to this water boost where you're up on the the fourth or fifth rung from the wall. Especially if they don't have the smoke and connector and they're giving up connector for free. The only thing is like how do you know if they're doing this like corner and post? Basically, it's like if you get water control. If you get water control, um, Taco doesn't really move very far from this little ring right here. And he plays barrels a lot. So with an op, I don't know how mobile Alu is, who is having an awful game, but he should be able to get that pick. Or somebody, Kerrigan, Nico, anybody good with the op can kill this guy. And then with Cold by himself, it becomes a little bit more manageable tracking him while other people are rotating. So I think contesting water heavy, because I wasn't paying too much attention because I was trying to focus on Cold's POV to a lot of the stuff that SK was doing in terms of like top of mid or like bathrooms top mid and like T long. But it didn't seem, unless they were going for this like cheeky connector smoke, that they were fighting this too much. I know that Fallen loves to opt this angle, but he might be playing more conservatively around bathrooms where people can make more mistakes, and there isn't a lot. there's a lot less mindless utility that gets thrown up here, just because this is very susceptible. So Fallen, I think, taking advantage of the meta, not putting all his eggs in one basket. Yeah, I would have to say water control. Water control is the biggest thing, because if you're picking Taco from barrels in a crucial round, or if you're getting water control, then there are people who have to be locked onto B site, and Cold is he's not a fast or a slow rotator. I think he's reading the situations really well, but forcing him to read them really well round after round after round after round is probably one of the best ways to go in terms of trying to string together some T rounds. Is Overpass a CT sided map? From what we see here, it looks pretty damn CT sided. I wonder if that is more the teams than the matchup, and the context of this being like the second or third. I think this is the third map in the, because they played Train, I believe, first. Yeah, I think this is the third map. No. This is the second map, and Inferno was the third map. So they went to a game 4. Anyways, or this might have been the final, the decider. I'm not actually sure. Anyways, context matters for these kinds of things. Big shout out to Counterflix. I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you wanna go check this demo out, head on over to Counterflix. It is Coldzera, 29 and 15 POV, SK FaZe, IEM Sydney, 2017. Let's look at the comment. 12-22, insane 3 8K kills. I agree. Let's watch it one more time. Oh, it's so glorious. He makes a ton of sense. Look. How many bullets does he use? He uses 17 bullets. Is he fully reloaded? Switch to the AK, my man. We have 30 bullets? That is a 13 bullet spray. 3 headshots. Unbelievable. I think he tags him up a couple times. Just, this guy's control is insane in the membrane. Anyways, yeah, check out Counterflix. And if you enjoyed me breaking down Coldzera's perspective, hit me up on Twitter. My handle is in the description, BenInMotion_, as well as check back again, or some of the POVs in the playlist. I really enjoy dubbing over these Counterflick POV demos, because I think you can learn a lot about some of the star players and teams by taking a look at their demos and seeing how they're working within their system, how they're getting set up, or the circumstances that lead up to rounds like these where Cold pulls off this massive flanking 3K. And I don't think any of that is by accident. When you're activating your star players by building systems around them, you're gonna get some consistent wins there. So yeah, thank you for checking this out if you do, and I'll see you in the next one.